And then with that, we bring in former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Secretary DeVos, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to start by actually showing you some examples of what Jewish students have faced. The first one was actually blocked from entering the campus by protesters. Watch.
This is what they do. Everybody, look at this. Look at this. I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school. And they're not letting me walk in. We locked them. I'm fine with that.
All right, Betsy, are these Title VI violations, and should these institutions be faced with having their federal funds pulled for violating Title VI?
Well, absolutely. And what is going on is disgusting, and it's inexcusable. And it is an abdication of leadership at these college president levels, as well as in the Department of Education and the Biden administration. They have continued to look the other way and allow these protests to continue to bully and harass and intimidate students. It is totally against the law. There are plenty of laws and tools on the books, and it is just inexcusable that it continues.
I want to put up an image. This is 6-year-old Ruby Bridges. In 1960, she was escorted in and out of her elementary school by federal marshals to protect her right to attend a public school that was an all-white school in New Orleans. So where are the federal marshals now making sure that Jewish students also can attend their schools?
Well, that's an excellent question, Martha. And again, there are plenty of tools available. There needs to be the will to actually enforce them. And, the University of Florida is getting this right. President Ben Sasse said, these are not daycares. These are universities. There are rules. And if the rules are broken, there are going to be consequences. It's very simple. And Secretary Cardona has tools at his disposal. What we did when we had issues while in office, we opened investigations and we promptly took action. They open lots of investigations, but nothing ever seems to happen. So there are lots of tools that can be used, and it is inexcusable to see this kind of activity continuing to happen and proliferate.
Yeah, they opened an investigation back in November. It hasn't. We haven't seen it go anywhere at this point. I'm curious what you think about Northwestern University's way of handling this. They negotiated with the protesters and offered full-ride scholarships to Palestinian students, guaranteed faculty jobs for Palestinian academics, and said that the university would support visiting Palestinian faculty and students at risk, all sorts of things that they're trying to do to mitigate the situation. What do you think of that approach?
Well, I think that's ridiculous, and it's appeasement. It is not leadership. It is folding to the demands and acceding to the demands of terrorists, essentially. And it can't be a model that should be followed anywhere else.
I think one of the other questions is when you look at the federal funding that these Ivy League schools receive, Harvard has like a $50 billion endowment. Why do they receive any tax dollars, any U.S. American tax dollars, these institutions who have plenty of money?
That's an excellent question, and I think it's a question that voters and individuals across the country should be asking as we look ahead to elections this fall. What in the world are we doing continuing to fund universities like this that continue to turn out students that don't behave as adults, that are continuing to be absolutely antithetical to what we aspire Americans to be. And this is an issue that is much bigger than just these protests. Also, this administration continues to play to try to buy votes with Biden forgiving or shifting the tax burden onto taxpayers for student debt, totally messing up the FAFSA update and form, where students today are left, particularly low-income students, are left high and dry without an opportunity to access their, funding for college for them to make decisions and attend. This administration has been a disaster from top to bottom when it comes to education.
Former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Betsy, thank you. Always good to see you. Thanks for being here today.
Yes, Martha.